Hi, thanks for tuning in again. I thought today I'd talk about a couple of bass drum techniques I use, and hopefully it'll be of some help for you to see me demonstrate them. The first technique, known globally as heel down, is pretty simple. Put your foot on the foot plate of the pedal. You can see how I have my pedal set up. If you're unaware as to how to set your bass drum pedal up, refer to my previous movie on setting up bass drum pedals. But my pedal is set up so that when I put the dead weight of my foot on it, the spring tension and the beater throw is there to accommodate that. So in other words, the pedal will hold my foot up and it will hold the beater off the drum. That's very important, that is the status quo. That is the starting point. The dead weight of my foot sits the beater a few centimetres off the head in readiness for going forward. Now, I like to rebound the beater, regardless of what technique I'm using with my foot, because I think it improves the tone and the projection of the drum to do that. For example, that's the sound of the drum when I don't rebound the beater. That's the sound of the drum when I do rebound the beater. You decide. Anyway, the main thing is that I'm just flicking that beater forward, letting it hit and rebound, and the dead weight of my foot is enough to catch it. So never at any stage of the game does my foot leave the foot plate, or does the beater go into out of control mode, which is what happens when you take your foot off the foot plate. So, dead weight of your foot should be enough to control the beater, and if you practice this heel down technique, it's more than useful. In fact, I use it anytime I'm looking for accuracy at low volume. Because you're in such a relaxed state, and you only need to tap your toe forward ever so gently, you can really work at the bottom dynamic of the drum quite comfortably. The problem with this technique is when you want to go to the other end of the dynamic scale and play very loud. When you play very loud, if you use your heel down technique for that, you put a lot of strain on the muscles up the front of your leg here, and it can hurt. It can cause muscle strain, and you never want to hurt yourself playing a musical instrument. If you're doing that, something's wrong with your technique. Okay? So what I do when I need more volume is that I incorporate the weight of my entire leg into the stroke. So to do this, I hinge at the back of my toes and I lift up, like imagine a string on my knee. I just lift up. Now you see what happens to the beater? I'll just go down again. There's the dead weight of my foot. And so of course, when I lift all the weight off, the beater comes back. So as I come up in readiness to go down, the beater comes back in readiness to go forward. There's a very natural physics going on there. Yeah? And you see what happens when I go down. I just flick the beater forward again, and now I'm flicking the beater forward with the full weight of my leg behind it. So if I want to get seriously loud, it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. That's the whole point of this technique. It's really easy to play loud when you're using your entire leg to drive the beater. Oh, I might add at this point in time, my demonstration bass drum here is only 16 inches in diameter, and the beater I have on it is, well, what, 1.5 centimetres in diameter, quite small, but it has a metal construction behind all the felt, and it has a counterweight here, and so it's actually quite meaty. And I find with the little drum, the little beater actually gets the best tone out of it. For example, I used to use this beater, which worked fine. Two-face beater, medium weight. I tried this beater, quad beater, heavy weight. And of course, I even have this blast from the past here that I used all through the 80s. Yeah, medium to heavy weight. So much playing on it, I've chamfered a natural face on it. And yeah, it's a wonderful beater. I can get really, really good tone out of particular drums with that beater, and with that beater, and with that beater, and with the wooden beaters and the other beaters that I've got outside. I mean, like, it's like sticks, you know, you have a whole lot of different sticks because different weights and different tapers and different balances and different feels, playing on different parts of the kit or different kits, all gives you a different result. as a percussionist, you need to explore those dynamics, you know. So likewise with the bass drum, don't just be content to think, oh, the bass drum beater is the one I got with the pedal. Have you ever tried to adjust it? No. Wrong. Have you ever tried any other beaters in your pedal? No. Wrong. You know, it's really important to understand. No one's going to come to your house and explain this to you. You have to figure it out for yourself, or see my videos and go, oh, that old bloke figured it out. Right, got it. Need to experiment with equipment. Need to realise that a tiny little drum like this really does not want to be hit with a quad pedal. Too big a stick for too little a drum, yeah? So that's why I use the beater that I do use, in case you were wondering. Anyway, the heel down technique is fairly obvious, and if you practice it, the only problem you'll have is when you want to play loud. And when you want to play loud, you want to get the entire weight of your leg driving that beater forward. But remember, you're still looking for a rebound stroke at the end of the day. You do not want to stop the stroke there. Follow through. It's like a golf swing. You know, at this point, you've impacted the ball. Right. Follow through. Allow the tension to go out. Now the impact has been made. Yeah. Anyway, that's the best I can explain it. So what I like to do is I like to modify this technique in a couple of instances, and those instances are when I'm looking for quick double strokes. Quick double strokes can be made heel down, no problem. But heel up, as I like to call this technique, yeah. There's just not enough time to do that twice. If you want to make a quick double stroke, you're going to need to modify that. And so I do it in two ways, depending on whether the double stroke I want to make is beginning on an upbeat or whether it's beginning on a downbeat. By that in 16th speak I mean beginning on an E or an R, which are the upbeats, or a 1 or an AND, the downbeats in that context. So if I want to do an R something double, say R1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and R1. Now I don't know whether you caught that or not, let me slow it down. R1. What I did was, instead of just lifting up and coming down, I rolled my foot forward, almost like I was going to make a heel downstroke, yeah? But that was at the start of my lift, so that it ends up looking more like that. So in other words, you're getting a stroke on the way up, and then you get the other one on the way down as per normal, and there you have it. What we refer to in this school as the up-down double stroke technique, yeah? Get one on the way up, get one on the way down. A little bit like the push-pull on the hi-hat. Anyway, that doesn't work if you're starting the double stroke on a downbeat. When I say it doesn't work, it doesn't feel right. There's a certain rhythm to the dance of drumming, and the up, down all is perfectly logical. But if you want to start your double stroke on a downbeat and do a double down, like think Kashmir from Led Zeppelin, you know, so there you do a 1E and a 3E if you want to look at it that way. And I'm not using the up-down technique to do that. In fact, I'm coming up just like I'm going to go down for a single. But it's like a stick. You can go down for a single or you can go down for a double. So in other words, if you come down looking for a toe flutter to give you a practiced double stroke action on the way down, you can get that 1E or 3E double with a much more natural feel to the dance of drumming, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we have the up down, we have the double down, we have the single down, and as one of my more astute students pointed out to me, Bob, if you can go up down and if you can go up and double down, can you go up down down? And of course you can, my friend, of course you can. You can do all sorts of things, but I've found when I'm practicing a triple bounce on the bass drum, it's normally leading off on a downbeat. It's somewhat like 1E and, you know, shut the door, bah, shut the door, shut the door, bah. So I play that the same way as I play a double down, only I make it a triple down. I actually do it a double toe flutter to get 3 beats on the way down. Yeah? Anyway, this is the way it works for me, and it has done for many, many years, and it's the way I teach my students, whether they like it or not, because I can only talk about what works for me. And this is what works for me. So why don't you try it and see if it works for you? Hey, cheers.